Yo, we are back again. Ringo TV reactions. Rate, comment, and subscribe. We back in the building for another one. Let's get it. We back again. This time for another interesting topic. We got a situation here that we got to talk about. Topic is about, it's basically a case study. Would D Wade daughter be accepted or rejected from the WNBA? When I look at this situation here, I noticed a few things. I did some research and I found some information about the WNBA, and I want to talk about this. If we look at this situation here on the screen, let me see if I can pull this up. It says the WNBA would accept transgendered women. That's what it says. Hold on, wait a minute. I noticed something about this live. It's not even on public. What the heck is going on? Wait a minute. I gotta edit this. What the heck is going on here? Give me a minute, guys. Let me see. Something is wrong with this. This is bugging out. Okay, hopefully this will do it. Let's see. Hopefully that will do it. But anyway, let me start back from the top. This particular topic here, what we're talking about is a case study. Would D Wade daughter be accepted or rejected from the WNBA? Now, I did some research about this, and to my surprise, it says yes, the WNBA would accept transgendered women. And in fact, Lashia Clarendon is the first openly transgender and non-binary athlete to play in the league, actively advocating for inclusion of transgender athletes in sports. Several other WNBA players like Brianna Turner has also publicly supported transgendered athletes' participation in the league. Now, it says key points about transgendered women in the WNBA. Lashia, basically it says, considered the first openly transgender WNBA player, speaking out about the need for trans inclusion in sports. We all know about Brianna. I remember there have been a lot of controversy surrounding her, but it says another WNBA player who has publicly defended transgendered athletes' rights to participate. Now, it says something regarding the policy right now. This section here is a little tricky. Now, I'm going somewhere with this because I'm trying to show y'all something. It says policy on transgender athletes. It says, while specific WNBA policies regarding transgender athletes may exist, the league generally follows guidelines that allow transgendered women to compete if they meet certain hormone level requirements. Now, this is where it gets a little interesting because so let me get this straight. So D Wade, if D Wade's daughter, right? And when we talk about daughter, we're talking about Zaya, right? If Zaya wanted to be in the WNBA, his daughter would have to meet certain requirements, hormonal requirements, in order to be in the sport. Now, what exactly does that mean? Does that mean certain body weight? Because we know, based on this particular post, that there is, in fact, an openly transgendered woman in the WNBA. Now, I don't know nothing about the WNBA. I don't watch it, never watched the game. I've seen a couple of clips here and there. It's just not nothing that really interests me, to be honest. But at the end of the day, the main course of this topic is the reverse. Would the NBA allow transgendered men to participate in the sport? That's what I want to know. And if so, is that fair? Would the NBA allow transgender men to participate in a very physical, brutal sport that is pretty much dominated by men? Is there anyone, do anybody know anybody right now in the NBA that is a transgendered man? Now, maybe, I don't know if everybody understand all of these different terms, right? A transgendered man is pretty much a woman who identify as a man. You get that? And a transgendered woman is a person born male but identify as female. You understand? So now, what I'm trying to figure out here is, if the WNBA says yes, the WNBA would accept transgendered women, then basically what they're saying is they don't have a problem accepting an individual born male but identify as a woman. They will allow that to ride as long as you compete if you meet certain hormone level requirements. I don't know what those levels and requirements consist of. Maybe I got to do some more research on that. But at the same time, if it's allowed, then what about the NBA? Do the NBA allow transgendered men to play in the sport? That's what I want to know. Because that means if you have a woman who identify as a man, shouldn't they be allowed to play? Or is it only for transgendered women in the WNBA because they figure it's less physical? And would it be fair? And here's another thing. If there are transgendered women in the WNBA, do they have an advantage? Because we've seen this happen in sports already. We've seen this happen in, I believe it's MMA. I'm not sure if it's MMA, where you had a transgendered woman fighting a woman, and the person got beat up bad. So wouldn't it be unfair? Wouldn't that be an unfair advantage? Even if a man identifies as a woman, wouldn't naturally that individual dominate? Wouldn't they be able to dominate in the sport? Whether it's physical, boxing, basketball. Would they allow this in football? In other words, if you want to be in the NFL, do the NFL allow transgendered men to become football players? Let me look it up. Let me look that up. It says the American Football International Federation, AIF, has guidelines to help transgender players participate in sport and in football safely and fairly. The guidelines will be updated as more research is done on the social and medical implications of transgender participation. Like, I don't understand that. That it's like, let me put this on the screen because I don't see nobody talking about this topic. Nobody is talking about this topic. Because if a woman is transgender and she identifies as a man, then if the WNBA allow transgendered women to be in the sport, did they go through that same sort of research in terms of medical research, as well as what they said, social and medical implications of transgendered participation? I mean, what is the research actually for? If they identify as a man, then just let them play. Whatever happened, happened. Because that's what they believe in, right? See, if we got to go through all of this red tape, all this technical stuff, all this research to see if it's fair, then what you're saying is that said individual is not physically or mentally capable of being in that sport. Because it's not like you could tell the male players they got to tone down or they got to be a certain weight class. It don't make sense. That would ruin the game of the NFL. So what research need to go into this? I'm trying to figure this out. Let me put it on the screen. Let me see if I can put this on the screen. Okay, let me see. Let's see. Okay, so right here it says the American Football International Federation, AIF, has guidelines to help transgendered players participate in football safely and fairly. Right? The guidelines will be updated as more research is done on the social and medical implications of transgendered participation. So now, basically what they're saying, in my opinion, is that they know it's not fair. And they know a transgendered man will get hurt. Will get hurt badly. We're talking about football, right? But now, again, if they know it's not fair, that's why they got to do all the research. Why would they allow that? And why would you allow this in the WNBA? Why would you allow, and again, they could do whatever they want. I'm looking at this thing from a case study because I'm trying to figure out none of this makes sense because it's not fair. You know, if I'm going to make a boy wrestle a girl, it's not a fair fight. No matter what. Even if the boy weighs the same as the girl, naturally, the boy is going to dominate. He's going to dominate. So now, if we look back at this graph here, this post here, let me see if I could get this up. Right, it says, yes, the WNBA would accept transgendered women. So now, I don't know nothing about Lashaya. I don't know that person's background and performance in the WNBA. Is that individual dominating in the sport? Is that individual dominating in the sport to the point that they have an advantage because of who they are? because I don't think none of this makes sense in terms of fairness. And I don't see how could they say, because they said the qualifications is, I guess you have to have certain, what they said? Let me see. Let's read at the bottom at policy. Policy on transgendered athletes. While specific WNBA policies regarding transgender athletes may exist, the league generally follows guidelines that allow transgendered women to compete if they meet certain hormone level requirements. So does that mean that they're saying that a transgendered woman have to take hormone pills or something along those lines in order to qualify? Is that what they're saying? So now, if that's the case with transgendered women, then what about if a woman who identifies as a man want to be in the NBA? What do they do? And are there any? And how would that affect the sport? Would the NBA be the same? Because I don't know anybody that watched the WNBA. I don't know anybody. Do anybody here watch the WNBA? Do anybody watch the WNBA? I have never sat down and watched. I don't even know when they play. I don't even know what's going on with that. There's no interest to me. So, what exactly is the benefit of a woman who identifies as a man coming into the NBA? How is that going to work? With all of the brutal fouls, all of the elbows, all of the pushing and shoving, could a woman who identifies as a man actually survive and not get hurt? Imagine a 6'7", 200 and something odd pound man elbowing a woman who identifies as a man. Imagine how that's going to feel. Who makes these rules and how do they determine that it's safe? It's not safe. There's no way you could tell me that that's safe. Now, I looked up some info regarding D Wade daughter, right? And it says, and this is pretty much a question where they asked, would D Wade want his daughter to be in basketball? And it says, no, D Wade's transgender daughter, Zaya, is not expected to play in the WNBA because Wade has said he no longer wants her to play basketball. But this is crazy because he did at one point. He did at one point, but now he don't. I wonder why. Explanation: Wade has said that he no longer wants Zaya to play basketball. Wade has supported Zaya's modeling career, which includes a runway debut in Paris in 2023. Zaya has become confident in her image with the support of her father. Wade has posted images of Zaya on his social media account, which has over 20 million followers. You know? So he don't want his daughter now to be in the WNBA. And I'm trying to figure out why, because he did at one point. So maybe it's because she chose modeling. And, you know, it's kind of uncomfortable keep saying these things. Like, it feels very weird. but I'm trying to stay within all of these parameters that they have when it comes to these topics. And this is why a lot of this stuff here is difficult to talk about, because it's like, I don't get it. I just don't. It's all right. Is this done anywhere else in the world? Or is this only in America? You know, it's like, all right, let's say you have a daughter and she want to play, I don't know, some sort of sport. But the other parent's son identifies as a girl. So because they're young kids, they allow it. And for whatever reason, your daughter understands the difference. And the boy end up, or should I say daughter, again, he end up hurting your daughter, or she end up hurting your daughter. Now, what do you do in that situation? Because there is a physical advantage. There is a physical advantage no matter how you see it in all sports. So if we're having like track and field and a lady is running in the track meet, but then you have a male who born male, but he's a transgendered woman, and he entered the league in the track sport, he has an advantage. Now, the woman might be able to run, but the transgendered woman has an advantage, a great advantage. Is that fair? It's not fair, but it's allowed, and it shouldn't be. And I think that this is one of the issues that Trump sees, and this is one of the issues that he's trying to, I guess, remove, because it's actually causing it's causing a lot of difficulties. Imagine going to an NBA game, and think about this, guys. Imagine 10 years from now what the NBA would look like. You know how brutal the NBA was in the 90s? In the 90s, the NBA was so physical. People used to get really brutalized. It ain't like today where everything is a foul, they call in everything. Dudes used to get beat on the court. So imagine if a transgendered man enters the NBA. They won't be able to last. I don't think they would be physically capable of, number one, playing the amount of time, because the WNBA is totally different than what men do in the NBA. So physically, the transgendered man won't be able to keep up, and they will get hurt. And another thing that's going to happen is it's going to cause men that are in the sport who know that that's a transgendered man to show favoritism when there shouldn't be no favoritism. In other words, if you're in the league, I'm going to treat you the way you want to be treated. So we're going to be throwing them elbows. We're going to push you around. We're going to rough you up. But I think what that would do is it would weaken the game, because now guys that are a particular size and weight, when they get near the transgendered man in whom they know for a fact was born woman but identify as a man, it's going to make them psychologically believe, like, if I be a little too rough, I might end up hurting this person. So now their performance is going to be off. So now the fans are not going to get a good game. They're not going to get a good game. Look at how it was when Dennis Rodman would battle Shaquille O'Neal. Y'all remember those early games with the Bulls? And y'all know Rodman is crazy. Rodman is not afraid of nobody. He will fight with anybody on the court. Y'all remember the game when they had to pull Rodman away because Shaquille I think he pushed him. Rodman wasn't having it. And Jordan and Pippen had to drag him, bring him down to the floor. Y'all remember that game? And they were laughing about it. Pippen was laughing about it because they know that Rodman's going to get in trouble. They didn't want him to get fouled out. You need him in the game. No matter how you see it, we need Rodman on the court. Now imagine Rodman in 2025. Just imagine that. We already know Hall of Fame. We know all of that. But imagine if he was here in the game right now and you have a transgendered man who's in the league playing in the NFL. I mean, not the NFL, the NBA. And Rodman is face to face with that person. You think they're going to survive? It's not going to happen. They're going to get manhandled. They're going to have to bring that person out on a stretcher. Their career would be over. Just like there was this one particular basketball player, I forgot the name, person just started in the league, messed up their whole leg. You saw his leg bent in all sorts of places. His leg was twisted. Career over. It was a disgusting sight. Injury was nasty. Leg was twisted, broken, and just broken off, man. It was horrible. You understand? So this is why Trump is doing exactly what he's doing in today's day. This is what is going on. So D Wade don't want his son to be in the WNBA for various reasons. Now, I know why, but I ain't going to go into full details on that, but I know exactly why. Now, a lot of y'all may not know this, but D Wade's son, transgendered son, who is now his daughter, is going to be tall, very tall. And based on what we see here, he don't want that. He knew what was going on, because remember, his so-called wife was the one that, I guess, made him become comfortable with what's going on. He wasn't with it. If you go back to all of the earlier so-called interviews about this and about that, you would notice that D Wade was not really into what was happening because he was in transition. And basically, the wife is the one that continued to push him and push him and push him. And then he just said, you know what? It is what it is, man. It is what it is. He started to go along with the program, and he probably got that word from, them people that he need to go along with the program or else he was going to get in trouble. So he pretty much switched up and said, you know what? I no longer want her to play it in any basketball. I don't want her to play that no more. I don't want her to get involved in that because I feel that he felt that it was going to be a bad image or whatever the case is. Because again, I don't know the age of Zaya. I don't know their age, but they're still growing. And there's going to be a lot of changes in the future. a lot of changes regarding this. And will they be as successful in modeling as they grow? I don't know. Right now, things might be one way because of their age, height, weight, and so on and so forth. But in the future, it may not be that way. It may not be that way in the future. You see? Because Zaya is going to be the height of D Wade. And they probably have Zaya on some sort of, what is that thing called that paper said? Let me see. Hormone levels. Because again, they would allow transgendered women in the WNBA, but based on their guidelines, all transgendered women, I guess they must compete if they meet certain hormone level requirements. So they want their hormones to be that of what a woman would be. That is basically what they're saying. So they're talking about possibly putting them on some sort of hormonal, I don't know. I don't know what they do. I'm just trying to understand, how is this fair in any way? How is this fair? Because I never even known that there is even such a thing as a transgendered woman in the WNBA. But it says it right there. It says somebody named Laisha, or whatever, considered the first openly transgendered WNBA player speaking out about the need for trans inclusion in sports. So now, if all sports implemented this, would that help the sport or kill it? I mean, would you watch an NBA game that, and we just got to just be straight, like men and women are battling each other on the court? Would you actually pay to watch that? If you know there are two transgendered men on that team, but on this team there are none, is that a fair game? I don't think so. I wouldn't even watch the game. I'm just being honest. I would turn the TV off. That's like Mike Tyson fighting a transgendered man that want to be a boxer. Is that a fair fight? We're talking about Mike Tyson in his prime. Would it be a fair fight if a transgendered man want to be a boxer and step in the ring with Tyson? That's a death match. Whoever would allow that, that's just sick. Why would you do that? You had Tyson take down bigger dudes in the ring. Bigger men, strong men, and he destroyed them. So now think about what that does, the testosterone of a man. Think about what that would do if a transgender man is in the same sport. It's not fair. Now, I understand they're trying to do all of this inclusion stuff and equality, but it's not fair. And it's not healthy or safe, because somebody could get hurt bad. Somebody could get hurt real bad. I would not want none of my daughters playing any sort of sports with boys, because boys are rough. You know, sometimes you might have daughters that are tomboys. They just like hanging out with boys, you know? But boys can be rough. Not because they're trying to be rough, not because they want to be aggressive. That's just the way boys are. Because they know we can all handle the pressure. So we'll push each other around and do things. But now if a girl is playing with us, it's like, how do we How do we proceed with what we do if we know this is a girl and we know we can hurt her? Do we treat her the same way? Do we become physically aggressive because she want to play? Or do we be light on her? So how does that affect the game? How does that affect the sport? It ruins the sport. And it make the game less enjoyable because now the players are not playing as rough as they normally would. So now we got a watered down game. And this is something Michael Jordan talked about because he said the NBA of old was more physical. The NBA today, it's like, it's boring. If you really think I don't even watch the NBA no more. I used to watch the NBA all the time. I don't even watch the games no more. There's a few NBA players that are good, but it's different today. It ain't like it was back in the day. Back in the day, you could sit down and you can watch a whole game from beginning to end, have your food, your drinks, whatever it is you had. You bring the peeps over the house and you could watch the game. Today's game, you don't even know what you're watching anymore. You don't know who's a real wrestler from something else. You don't know who is a biological male that identifies as a male from a transgender who is in the sport. You don't even know the difference anymore. And then when you do, you look at the game different because now you're looking at the other person as, oh, you got an advantage. I remember they had something recently, like I said, you had something recently. I don't know exactly the name of the person, but I think it was in the MMA sport where you had a woman, a biological woman, who was fighting a transgendered woman, right? And the person beat the crap out of her. Brutalized her. It wasn't fair. But they allowed it. They allowed a biological man who identifies as a woman to fight a woman. And the person beat the crap out of them. Busted them up real good. Now, I don't know about you, but that's not fair. And when you saw the person's face and you look at how they got bust up, you're like, damn. This don't even make no sense. I'm actually surprised that the WNBA said, yes, we accept transgendered women. So again, if the WNBA accepts transgendered women, then shouldn't the NBA accept transgendered men? And how does that work? Because if the WNBA is requiring women to compete if they meet certain hormonal level requirements, then how does that work if a transgendered man want to be in the NBA? How does that work? How do she have to have certain testosterone levels? Like, does she have to get on some sort of supplement? How does that work? Does she have to gain muscles? Like, hit the gym, get a weight up? How does that work? Are there any transgendered men in the NBA right now? That doesn't make no sense. But they said it is so in the WNBA. Is that player dominating? I don't even know nothing about the WNBA, so I don't know. I have to do my research, and I don't feel like searching on that right now. But they said that some person named Laisha or Lashia or whatever, that person is the first openly transgendered WNBA player. Now, if they said the first, are there any others? Because I'm pretty sure there's more. I am almost guaranteed that There's a lot more. Gotta be a lot more. Because when you look at some of these players, it's sort of like certain things you could kind of point out and see that'll kind of make you realize like, yeah, there's more. Well, what does that do for the game? What does that do for the sport? It doesn't make it entertaining. That's like a man wrestling a woman or boxing a woman. I'm not interested in that. You would be interested in two dudes having a fight or stuff like that. I'm never interested in seeing women fighting. Like, I don't understand like any sport where women are fighting. That's never entertainment to me. Like, I can't watch that. Like, two women fighting, like some sort of MMA fight or wrestling or any of that. None of that stuff interests me. Even from like the WWF and WWE days when they would have women wrestling, I didn't care for that. That stuff never interests me. Because to me, it was boring. It's like you're seeing women fighting. What exactly are you looking at? And anytime they would show you women fighting, they would always show you the women in provocative poses. It's like, this is what they would, I think they did this purposely to kind of get the male viewers to actually watch this. I think that's exactly what they would do. You know? And it was crazy. They would always, it's like anytime they did like female wrestling, based on how it was in the 90s, you would see them in these poses that were designed to make men look at the TV. If you recall, if you can remember from that time, that is what they did. And it was a way to keep us tuned in. But I never really enjoyed those fights because it was fake. It was like, what exactly are they doing? All they doing is trying to make us tune our eyes in. Like, they would make her bend over. She would have her in some sort of move and her behind would be all on the camera. Then the cameraman would zoom in. I'm like, nah, this is just entertainment. They're just trying to keep us tuned in. We were more interested when Andre the Giant would be fighting Hulk Hogan or what's the next one? Roddy Piper or Paul Orndorff. That's what we were interested in. Those are the fights that we loved those fights. When we was kids, that was everything to us. Nobody cared about the women fighters. Matter of fact, even women don't care. When you compare the NBA to the WNBA, it's like night and day. I don't even know why the league exists, to be honest with you. I just don't see any use. You know? I mean, I ain't saying you can't be a basketball player, but I just don't. I'm not interested in that stuff. I cannot sit there and watch women play basketball. I just can't. When I look at that sport, in my opinion, that's a man's sport, in my opinion. I don't know not one female NBA baller. None. I don't know anything about that particular league. But when it comes to the NBA, yes. And it's totally different. So if transgendered men entered the NBA, would it change the game? Would it cause people to watch the TV or turn it off? Would it do that? Would you still watch? Or would it ruin the sport? You know? It don't make no sense, man. Let me see what's going on. Give me a minute here. Let me see. Anyone that come into the comment section posting off-topic comments, you getting blocked. All right? If you come in here with anything that's off-topic, you're just going on my block list. I don't got time to be playing games with demons, right? So now, if you're not here for the topic, leave, right? The topic is about a case study. Would D Wade daughter be rejected or accepted in the WNBA? Now, based off of the content, D Wade don't want his transgendered daughter to play in the so-called WNBA for various reasons regarding modeling careers. But at first he did. At first, if you go back to some of the older tapes, I know I got it. I don't remember where it is, but I know I got it downloaded. D Wade wanted Zaya to be in the league. He did talk about that at one point, but I guess they changed their mind. But then again, that may change again. Because the so-called modeling career thing, that might be happening now. But I'm telling you, as Zaya grow, it's going to change. It is going to change. It is definitely going to change. And you may end up seeing something different. A career change, perhaps? I don't know. I don't even hear. Listen, I tried to watch those little highlights on YouTube regarding the WNBA just to see what it was like. As soon as I turned it on, I just turned it back off. I was like, I can't watch this. I'm bored. Like, that's not nothing. Listen, the only thing that I could watch, right, in terms of women's sports is like track, swimming, volleyball, stuff like that. But basketball, no. Like, we're talking about like watching like sports, like stuff like the Olympics, stuff like that is good. I mean, soccer is also good too. Like, women could play soccer. You know what I mean? And I think, I'm not sure in the UK, do they call it football? I'm not sure exactly what it is. But I think in the UK they call it football. But soccer, if women are playing that, it's okay. I won't watch it. You know what I mean? It's not my thing. But the only sports that, to me, is worth watching is like the Olympics, where you have the track meets, the running, stuff like that. I'll watch that. Because to me, swimming, running is something that is a strength women have. Women's legs are normally strong, very strong. All of a woman's strength is in her legs. That's right. So running, that sport, yeah, I'll watch that. But now, if you put a transgendered woman in the female Olympics, that wouldn't be fair. That would not be fair. And I think they did something like that, if I'm correct. I think they did something like that. I mean, again, D Wade is D Wade. You know what I mean? And I got to talk about this other story. You had a father, he got locked up. I think he's going to jail, prison, whatever the case is, because he pretty much, I guess he got upset because his son was wearing makeup. Son came home wearing makeup, father flipped, lost his cool, and police got called. I think he assaulted his son. Now, I'm going to share my opinions about it when I do the video. People may disagree. I don't care. But I'm going to talk about it. what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna react to a video that another content creator did, because another content creator did a reaction video to it. And since he did his video already, I'll just react to his video because he had some opinions that I disagree with, and I want to share my thoughts about it. So I'm going to use his video to pretty much, I guess, educate the community on exactly what's going on in terms of how to handle those situations. Because a lot of people were like, the father did the right thing. He did the right thing and blah, 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 and all this other junk. I'm like, how he did the right thing if he's in prison, if he's going to jail? How did he do the right thing? No. You got to understand there are laws in the world, and as a mom and as a dad, there's certain things you can and can't do. And this kind of goes back to the hypocrisy of people. It's like you could see a man wearing makeup and you'll judge him because he got on the makeup. Like, for example, you could look at D Wade's daughter, right? I'm just trying to be within the parameters that they have set. Y'all know what I mean, right? You can see clearly what's going on here. D Wade have his daughter in a red dress with a purse, handbags, and you can judge because you can see, right? But now, what about the person who don't have on makeup? They got on a hood or they got on a suit with some J's, but they're living a lifestyle that is contrary to scripture. You won't judge them the same way. You would never judge them the same way. Now, I'm not saying you got to agree with your son wearing makeup. Of course not. But there's certain rules of what you can and can't do. And I think that is what the father, that's where he messed up. We're going to review that video. Because the father was being praised by everyone. And I'm saying to myself, a lot of times people on social media, they'll say, oh, the father did the right thing. He did a good job. Actually, the father did a bad job. He did a bad job. And shout out to everybody coming in the building. I see Marissa in there, Rebel for Almighty. Damn, you wrote 1,000 comments. Let me see what's going on. Let me see. And make sure you get the likes up on the video one time. Let me see. Okay. Yeah. Shout out to Ricardo for the membership. What else we got? You said the WNBA and NBA is getting soft. It's been soft already. It's not the way it was back in the day. I don't even watch it. You know what I'm saying? I might, watch a couple of games here and there, but it don't interest me because it's not as physically as it used to be. It used to be a physical sport. Now everything is a foul. There's too many rules. There's so many different changes. It just kills the game. You got some good players that are out there still, but it's not as physical as it once was. There was a time when you couldn't miss the game. There was times when you had to watch the game. You would stop everything in your world just to look at that game. And the game was so entertaining. It was just, man, I'm glad I'm watching this game. And you would talk about it the next day with the fellas. It was the talk of the town. Everybody would talk about it. So now, D Wade, son, who is transgendered, now his daughter, is pursuing a modeling career rather than following in the footsteps of D Wade, in which that's what he wanted. But then they changed their mind, decided, no, not going to go that route. We're going to see how the modeling thing do. Like I said, right now, it might be one way, but all of that's going to change as Zaya get older. It's going to change. It is going to change. Who's the other son? Is it Magic Johnson's son, who is transgendered? Let me see. I almost knocked down my drink. Let me see, Magic. Man, oh man. I don't know, guys. I really don't know what's going on, man. I do not know what's going on. What is going on in the NBA? What is going on? Is there something going on? I don't know. I don't know what's going on, guys. Something is going on, man. Is this like... I'll probably have to talk about that in another video, because I see some things here that is just not adding up, man. Let me see if I could get this. This is... Maybe some of y'all never seen this. Don't know what's going on. But let me see if I get this. Did it take the picture out? I think it did. Let me see. Okay. All right. So this is Magic Johnson's son. I mean, transgender daughter. Right? It's Magic Johnson right here. So I'm trying to figure out what exactly is going on in the NBA. Is there something going on? Because we have D Wade, we have Magic Johnson, and I'm sure there are others. And I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I'm really trying to figure out what's going on here. But that's a whole nother topic. So Zaya is not going to be in the WNBA. But the NBA do accept transgendered women. But you have to have certain hormonal levels, which mean they want you to be more physically like a woman. I don't know if they mean body type, like in terms of weight class, like you have to weigh a certain amount, or I just don't get it. Like, what does that mean? I don't know. Listen, when it comes to all of these different, what they call these words, these pronouns and noun, I don't understand. There's so many I don't know. I don't know what to, I don't know. I don't know what to call anybody anymore. There was a time when you would just say somebody's gay. Now it's like you can't even say that. If you say that, they're offended. Like, what do you call everybody? I don't know. It's confusion. You know? I was watching a video the other day where a transgendered woman who is a biological man but identifies as a transgendered woman, went into a bank, got some money. Was it a bank? I don't know if it was a bank or a fast food joint. And the person said, "No, sir." And they got offended. It's like, "I'm not a man, I'm a woman." And I guess the person said, "Well, I thought you was a man." "You are a man, right?" "No, I identify as a woman." And they had an argument. And the person tried to make a big deal that they said, "Sir." And I'm like, listen, man, this type of stuff needs to stop because it's causing confusion. And I almost feel like I'm sinning by even playing games with this. Like you ever think about that? Like, think about what I'm just saying here. Like, I know that what I'm looking at here is not real. So what I'm trying to figure out is if I know for a fact that D Wade's transgendered daughter is not biologically his daughter, but yet I'm saying that's sort of like I'm sinning. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like, it feels weird. It's like I'm participating in something that I know. This is why I'm saying, man, it's like it's just tripping me out, bro. This is why Trump is pretty much doing what he's doing. A lot of people getting mad, but he understands what's going on. It's like, this is causing confusion, man. And it seemed like when you say that, the first thing they do is they say, "Oh, you're a hater, this, that." It has nothing to do with that. You're confusing me. You're confusing people. You're causing people to say things that may be offensive when they're not trying to be offensive. And it just puts everybody in a bind where it's like, you don't even know what to say. You don't even know what to say anymore. Let me see. RC says, "I was at Macy's and every single bathroom said unisex." Wow. I'm talking about on both levels of the store. That remind me, when I was on a 9-to-5 grind, we had a meeting. Long story short, they were trying to make us, we had one gay guy that worked at the job, and they basically said that if the gay guy decides they want to be a woman or feel that they're a woman on a certain day, they could go into the women's bathroom when they want. I'm like, what? So I raised my hand. I said, so if I decide that I think I'm a woman today, could I go into the women's bathroom? They said, no, because you're straight. I said, what if I feel like I want to be a woman today? I'm being denied. Isn't that going against my rights? They said, no, those rights only apply to someone who's gay. That's what the person said in the meeting. And I was shocked because I was like, you do know what you just did, right? Isn't that racism? Isn't that being prejudiced? Like, isn't that discrimination? Because you're telling me that the gay guy that works at the company, if he identifies as a woman today, he could go into the woman's bathroom. They even said he could change in the woman's locker room, and it's not a problem. I'm like, so hold up. So he get to go in there and see the women, and in the locker room, these women be naked, topless, doing all sorts of stuff, getting dressed. Just like when dudes is in the locker room, you know, they do their thing. Women do the same thing. But they said that the guy who's gay, if he identifies as a woman, he could go in there. And I'm like, what? That's crazy. But they said, we can't. So I told the person who was doing the meeting, I said, isn't that discrimination? They said, well, you can't hold me to that. You're going to have to talk to people higher up because this is what they sent me to talk about. So once we got that info, we knew what this was about. This wasn't about our rights. This was about oppressing us at the expense of favoring the gay guy and how he feel over how we feel. So our rights didn't matter. And then once the meeting ended, the gay guy was trying to tell us that, yo, bro, like, it's cool. I'm not here to, make y'all feel like y'all gotta, treat me a certain way in order for me to be accepted. I understand the meeting, but I didn't ask for that meeting. That's what they did. I guess because they knew that a gay guy was coming to work at the company, because he was the first person at our location that was gay. So I think that because he was the first person at the location that was gay, they sent somebody from the agency to speak to all the staff to try to get our minds focused on, we got to be acting a certain way. They was like, you can't joke about this. You can't joke. They just ruined the whole workplace. Ruined the whole workplace. You can't have jokes. You can't. They're like, oh, you can't tell gay jokes. This is what they said. You know how when you're just joking around on the job, just fooling around, they was like, you can't say that because it's offensive. You can't do this. You can't do that. We're like, listen, man. And then after the meeting, the same gay dude, he was like, listen, if y'all want to joke around, y'all could joke around. I ain't worried about that. Like I said, I ain't come here to ruffle up no feathers. And the dude is cool. I ain't saying dude was a problem. We ain't have no problem with the dude. You know what I mean? He was a part of the team. He was a part of the workforce. We never disrespected him. Nobody never called him out of his name. Nobody never made him feel some type of way in the workplace. Never. Nobody ever disrespected dude. You know what I mean? He was official, just that he was gay. But my point is, after the meeting ended, we all felt like we couldn't even be humans no more. We were literally uncomfortable in the workplace. And it went on like that for about 2 weeks. And I remember dude was like, look, man, I noticed y'all don't joke no more. Y'all don't talk no more. Like, this place really got damn salty and uncomfortable. Like, it was bad, man. Nobody could even speak because we're all concerned about third-party harassment, who's going to snitch. So he just flat out asked the supervisor if there could be a meeting, and he was talking, and he said, look, you guys could just be yourselves, man. Just be yourselves. Crack whatever jokes y'all gonna crack. Just talk, just do whatever y'all do, man. Don't let that meeting make y'all feel like y'all can't even be who you are. And I actually appreciated the fact that he did that because it made our supervisors, not be too bossy with the staff regarding his stay at the company. And then from that day, everything was pretty much good. We ain't have no issues. So when you look at this situation with D Wade, you look at Magic Johnson, you gotta understand, man, like these type of topics, right, need to be talked about, but there's so many restrictions on these topics that it just ruins the content. Because the educational value that one wants to bring, it's like they can't bring the educational value. This is why the Christian church don't even talk about this. They don't even talk about it because everybody gets offended, everybody gets mad, and then they start accusing you of all sorts of stuff, even though you're as respectful as you could possibly be. You ain't see me crack jokes. You ain't seen me disrespect nobody, nothing. But for some reason, there's always that one person that no matter what you do, they're offended. No matter what you do. Let me see. And as I said, the dude that was at the job was not trans or any of that. He was just gay. Just a gay dude. He's a dude. He's into dudes. You know what I mean? He wasn't there acting like he's a woman. Like, he didn't come there saying he's trans. He wasn't dressing like a woman. None of that type of stuff. Let me see. Well, any church that preach against the rainbow normally gets no support. In Christendom, if you preach against the rainbow, you don't get supported. They shun you because you're coming against the cash cow of how they make money. Let me see. You said too many pronouns to keep up with this is what's happening. This is why I don't even like entertaining none of that stuff. But the thing is, content is content. I'm trying to figure this thing out when it comes to the whole WNBA thing. And is it the same for the NBA? If a transgendered man, which is a biological woman who identifies as a man, if that individual wanted to be in the NBA, right, an all-dominated male league, would they allow a biological woman who identifies a transgendered, a trans man to pretty much enter the league? Would they allow that? Or would there be, some sort of issue? Because I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think that they would do that. Let me look it up. Because I don't know if I did. Let me look that up. Let me look it up and see. We might be surprised. There might be somebody in the league right now. Would a transgendered man be allowed to play in the NBA? Nothing came out. Wait, nothing came of it, but I think the general consensus was that the NBA doesn't specify gender in the rules of some teams seem open to. Has there ever been a transgender NBA player? No, that's not that. They're talking about the WNBA right there. Does the NBA have transgender restrictions? There are no rules. There are no rules stating that NBA players have to be male. In fact, 2 women have gotten remarkably close to being able to play before. Lacia Harris is currently the only woman to be drafted in an NBA team. She was selected with the 137th pick of the 1977 draft by the New Orleans Jazz. Okay. Is there a trans? No. Does has a female ever played in the NBA? She became the second woman ever drafted in the NBA team after Dennis Long, who was selected by the San Francisco Warriors in the 1969 draft. However, the league voided the Warriors' selection. Thus, Harris became the first and only woman ever officially drafted. So, I don't know. I'm going to have to do some more research on this. It appears that there may have been one, but I don't know, man. It's just... Could a woman play in the NFL? No. No woman has played in the NFL as of August 2023 due to the league's physical demands and the lack of female athletes in football. Because they know they're going to get hurt. They know that. But it never really answered the question. We're trying to find out for now. Would a transgendered male be allowed to play in the NBA? It's like they're not answering the question. It's like they're going around it. Let me see. Even if the NBA has since updated their rules to specify that only men can play, that wouldn't change anything because, like I said above, trans men and men, assuming they have gone that far with their transition. For the record, even though this isn't specifically the question, I think it is entirely possible for a woman to play on the NBA, though I imagine it likely be as a guard. Well, why as a guard? She should be able to play any position on the court. Anything else would be discrimination. Or you're looking at her as if though she's not physically fit to do the job. You know? It's just like when I was on the 9 to 5, we had a particular job title and both men and women had this title. And a lot of times men would simp for female validation and female attention by telling the woman, I'll do the job for you because you're a woman. I don't want you to get hurt. And I remember you had some women that would try to run game on dudes like, hey, could you help me with this? And I would tell them no. They would get mad. I'd be like, no. You signed up for the job. You make the same money. Do your job. And they would get furious. I didn't care. Because I'm not going to do your job when you're getting paid the same salary. It's like, it don't even make no sense. You work in the same field. You took the same exam. Do your job. I'm not going to do your job for you because you figure, well, you're a woman and I'm a man and I can handle the physical labor of the job. No, you signed up for this job. I'm not doing this. You know? Let me see. Let me see. I'm reading the chat. I don't know if, let me see. Let me go back to that because somebody said Brittany Griner. What's the name? Let me go. Let me go back to that. Give me a minute. Let me see. I don't know. I think I did a video about that person before. Somebody said Brittany Griner. Oh, I missed the super chat. Oh, shout out to Rebel for Almighty for the super chat. I must have missed your super chat. Let me see. It says Transformers have side effects because manhole will close up in few years. They have to sleep with tool inside the manhole that it won't close up on them. Yeah, it's just, man, like I said, man, the things I want to say, I can't say. The things I want to say, gang, I can't even say. It's just, you know. You know what's so crazy, fam? It's like, when I look at these situations, right? When I look at stuff, when I look at what's going on, like with D Wade, you know, Magic Johnson, when I see stuff like this, guys, I am 100% happy that I have all girls. I'm happy about that. I mean, I would like a son. But when I see stuff like this, guys, it's really difficult to watch. the father that got arrested because his son put on makeup. We're going to tackle that topic next. I don't agree with what he did. I understand his frustration, but there's a way to go about it. You know, if you're going to have physical violence on your son because they put on makeup, then you belong in prison. You do. Because if your son committed another type of sin, you're not going to do that. You're doing that because you can see him wearing the makeup and you're displeased with what you saw. So you thought the physical violence was going to somehow drive your son to change their life. It's not going to make them change. There's a reason why they're doing what they're doing. You know, it could be something that you've been doing. It could have been something that you've been doing. Maybe you have a weakness. Maybe you have something that you've been indulging in your past that somehow was passed down the bloodline. Things like that happen where you had certain struggles that nobody know about, and then your children end up participating in that same iniquity that you struggled with. Meaning nobody don't know that you may have had, your curiosity may have been thinking about those things, and you probably did things when you was a kid, but nobody noticed it. You get what I mean? But those tendencies, they've been passed down. You said that he wasn't there. He wasn't there as much as he should be. Who, D Wade? You saying he wasn't there as much in Zaya's life? He said D Wade ruined his son's life. I think it's really the woman. She the one who encouraged that, guys. She's the one who encouraged that. D Wade was not with it. I think that D Wade is of the rainbow. If you ask me, I believe he's of the rainbow, but he was not really with it the way the woman was. She's the one who made him co-sign it, because he was actually the type that wanted to avoid it as much as possible. If you go back to all the old interviews, he was not happy about it. He was not. But the wife made him change his position on that. The wife made him change his position on that. You said D Wade was with it. Gabrielle pushed it. Yeah, well, that's what I mean. She pushed that as much as she possibly can. And I know she's not the biological mom. I know that. Let me see. The natural bio mom took him to court and her case was thrown out. Yeah, of course, it's going to be thrown out. And I'm sure she wasn't with it in terms of how the son ended up. I'm sure she didn't want that situation to be the way it is. It was Gabrielle who was pushing for that. If anything, Gabrielle is the one who put the battery in Zaya's back to continue down that road, to make her come out. And the thing is, when you do this at a young age, as they did it, it can become very dangerous. I feel there should be a law, right? It's just my opinion. I feel that there should be a law that I guess teaches people that if you are a male or female and you want to identify as whatever you want to, right? You do that when you're an adult and you want to make your own decisions. Now, do I agree with what you're doing? No, I don't. I don't agree with none of that stuff. At the same time, allowing kids to make these decisions, I think is dangerous. As a parent, I think that is wrong. I remember back in the days, I did a video. You can't even do videos like this no more because YouTube is very strict with these, I guess with all of that stuff, they're very strict with that. But there was a topic that I did back in the day of a young boy. And the boy was like probably 5 or 7. And his mother, some of y'all probably saw this back in the day. His mother kept pushing him to be a girl. And they had him on talk shows and he was like, I'm a girl. He was wearing a pink dress. And it was just sad, man. It was really, really sad because he's a little kid. He's a young boy and the mom kept pushing him to be a girl. And I'm like, that's child abuse, fam. That's child abuse because he's a kid. He don't know what he's doing, man. And I guess the mom was doing whatever. And then they had the father that came out. And you could tell the father didn't like it. But he was forced to say that, yeah, I support this. I support that. You know, my daughter, and it was just hard to watch because you could see that the father was grieving. You could see that the father was hurting, but it was on TV. And they really made him go up there, and it was just sad, man. It was just bad to look at, man. Absolutely sad, man. The kid was a little kid, like between 5 to 7. Or 5 or 6, somewhere around there. And they literally made show after show promoting this kid as a girl. And I'm like, he's a kid, man. Why are y'all doing that? There should be a law against doing that. That's abuse because things change. Over time, a child might feel that they are a girl or whatever, and it might be a phase, and then they grow out of the phase. You know what I mean? Just like sometimes you have girls, they're tomboys when they're little kids. They play basketball with the boys, tag with the boys. You don't see them playing with the girls. But then all of a sudden when they get into high school or they get older, all of a sudden they break out of that tomboy stuff. And now it's like they're totally different. That's what goes on. It's crazy, man. You know? Facts, them kids are so pure and don't know what they really want. Yeah, that's why I think that the parents should be put in prison for trying to force things on them. You know, you trying to push your child to be something at a young age, that's abuse, man. You need to let them make their choices when they're of age. Then they could go ahead and do what they want to do. Because I ain't going to have nothing to say. It's like, if you're a mom, dad, let's say, for example, hypothetically, I have a son and he's 18. He's talking about he want to wear a dress. I'm like, look, fam, you 18, you can get out the house. It is what it is. You're still my son. But at the end of the day, you can't come around me like that. Those would be the ground rules. Like, you can't come to the house like that because your younger brothers and sisters or whatever the case is, I don't want them seeing that. Right? So if that's your life, you're of age, you can make your own decision. But that doesn't represent me. And you can't be in the house acting like that. We're not going to tolerate you wearing makeup around the house. None of that stuff. You can't do none of that while you're in my house. You know, respectfully, you can't. And if you think that you can, you'll be banished from existence from the family. Like, we would have nothing to do with you. because it's all about respect. You respect your family, respect yourself, and we're all good. I just don't want the kids to see you like that, because it will influence them to say, well, wow, my brother's wearing a dress. Could I wear a dress, Mom? Is it okay if I have that? Could I get heels? And now all of a sudden the other son was influenced, and now he's trying on mommy's shoes and doing this. Like, I don't want that going on, because I already know why that's happening. It's just that in this culture, the world is so sensitive. We live in a very sensitive world, man. People are so sensitive in today's day. It's like they're ultra emotional. Some people are just so emotional in today's day. It's just a sad situation. They just don't know how to be. It's just bad all around, man. Sometimes you just can't even talk to people, But anyway, guys, we're going to get up on out of here, man. I don't know what D Wade is doing, bro. I just don't get it, fam. It's just, Magic Johnson with, I just don't. This is too much, man. This is too much. It's too much. But we're going to get up on out of here, gang. We're going to do what we got to do. We're going to get up on out of here, man. But the thing is, kids shouldn't be doing none of that, because here's the thing. We want to protect our kids from danger, right? How is making your son wear a dress and identifying as a girl at a young age helping them in any way? You don't think that's abuse? That's abuse, because you got to let your child develop to the point where they can make decisions when they get older, where they know and understand what they're doing. That's like you're going through a so-called sex change operation, and you're letting your child make a decision as a kid. Because that's what happened on that show, guys. The show that I was talking about with the little kid, that it was two shows. One with a black kid, the other one with a white kid. The one with the white kid, the family was talking about, yeah, we're going to go through with the operation. We're going to do this. And I'm like, damn, man, that's crazy, man. This is a kid. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they want. They're going to regret that and might end up doing the unthinkable. Because if you really do your research, a lot of young people that are of that world that went and got the operation, they later on regretted it and end up self-deleting because they regret it and they knew they couldn't go back. And it's like they couldn't even live with themselves, because it's like, damn, what did I do to myself? Because it's like they snapped back into reality and they grew into depression and they just said, enough is enough, I'm out. There's stories like that. Look it up. Go do your research about people who are transgendered, but they got the operation to make it official. A lot of those folks regretted the operation, man, and damn near lost their mind. Took themselves out because they got real. Imagine you a dude, for whatever reason, you went the other way, but then you went to go get your rod removed because you want to feel more like a woman. And then after they remove it, now you wake up and you realize, I don't want to be this no more, but you had an operation. So now you're ready to be a man again, but you already had the operation. So now you're trying to figure out, what are your options? Could you reverse the operation? Could you, and they're like, there's nothing we can do. I don't know why would anybody do this, man, to themselves. That's crazy. But there have been people who did it. They couldn't live with themselves and they took themselves out. Yeah, the doctors are evil, especially if they're doing this to kids. They should be locked up in prison. They should be in prison. It don't make no sense. It don't make no sense to do operations on kids that are not even old enough to make their own decisions. Like, it don't make no sense. Let me see. Okay, Rebel for Almighty said good night, everyone. Okay, so peace to you. I might just do my stream in the morning, to be honest with you. I might react to that video later on because it's already 1:55 in the morning. Let me see. Yup, that's why I wouldn't allow anyone to make that type of decision for a child, because the child is going to go through things. The outcome can't be undone. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I've saw videos about this, man. Videos where people damn near lost their mind, grew in depression, and exited the planet because they couldn't live no more, man. You know? But hey, it is what it is, man. I just hope that Trump continue to clean house, especially in regard to a lot of the stuff that is out of control, because it's just bad, man. It's like they doing things in schools now, teaching kids this. I mean, it's just bad, man. Some of these schools, man, they wicked, man. They'll be telling your kids, oh, you could be whatever you want to be, you know, whatever. I'm like, listen, man, they got to stop programming these kids, man. Like, really stop that mess, man. Let these kids be kids, man, and stop trying to convert them into other things. Like, there's some sort of agenda or something, man. It don't make no sense. It's like they pretty much are, it's like they trying to push the kids into being something that they're not even thinking about, man. Like, why would you even be doing that? That didn't make no sense. These are kids. You know? But anyway, guys, we're going to get up on out of here, man. I got to get me something to eat, bro. Like, for real, for real. Let me see. I guess I'll tackle that topic in the morning about the father that got arrested because his son came home with makeup. I don't know if the son came home with makeup or the son was in school with makeup. I don't know. That's weird. I didn't turn on the heat. It just turned on. I guess I have it on auto. Okay. That's probably what it is. Or somebody just turned it on, I guess. It is what it is. Anyway, let me see. You said we didn't know they things at early age. I don't know exactly what that meant. Homeschool sounds good, but a lot of people don't have the luxury of doing that, especially when, you know, I mean, it could be done, but that's a whole nother thing. It's like, you got to be a person who is really, you have to be financially well off, number one. Number two, you have to have the time. It's a lot of time to be doing all of that stuff. A lot of people just don't got that time. Most mothers or parents, they don't even want to be doing none of that stuff. We weren't brought up in a world where we actually homeschool our kids. I hear this all the time on social media, but the truth is, I don't know what world everybody live in where you got that kind of time. I don't know who got that kind of time. You know? That's a lot of time. Because now what time do you got to do what you need to do? So you would have to be financially well off to the point where, money is coming in to maintain the house and family. And you got time to dedicate to that, which would be a good thing if you could do it, you know. But in this world, they really want your kids in school. So the curriculum, the schools is going to send you that curriculum. You're going to have to follow certain things they want your kid to, to know. It ain't just about you just doing whatever you want to do, you know. Yeah, and everyone can't teach. Teaching is a skill. If you're a teacher, it's a skill. You have to know how to teach kids. Not everybody can do that. Because some people will get frustrated while doing it. Let me see. So yeah, we're gonna get up on out of here, guys. I'll catch y'all in the morning later on. I'm gonna do the video in the morning. I gotta get me something to eat and I gotta take care of something in here. But yeah, they arrested the father for assaulting his son for wearing makeup. I'm gonna pretty much find the story. I'm gonna react to a video of somebody else that did a reaction video. I'm gonna react to their video, but I'm gonna try to find the story so I could kind of talk about the news brief and then hear what the content creator had to say and then share my thoughts to see, if there's any middle ground on how do we handle situations like that. Like, how do you handle a situation of you have a son, you don't approve of what they're doing in terms of them wearing makeup. How do you go about dealing with that as a father? How to deal with that as a mother? Do you become physical with them in terms of scoldings, whatever the case is? You resort to hitting, assault. Like, how do you respond to that situation? Is it the wise thing to do? Is there another way? Like, how do you go about doing that? We're going to learn about that tomorrow. That's what we're going to learn. Because I think a lot of parents might be going through stuff like that. You might have some parents right now that their son, right, is of the rainbow and they don't know what to do. The father's not there and it's just the mom don't know what to do. You don't know what to say. Or maybe the father is there. And for whatever reason, the son is like, look, this is what I want to do. And y'all don't know what to say. Or maybe your daughter is of the alternative and you're like, listen, man, what the heck is going on? We're going to try to give you some advice, some information in the morning because we're going to tackle the case, find out about the father that got arrested. Was it a bad thing for him to get arrested? Was it good? Was it justified? Did he break the law? Should more parents follow the footstep of the father? Or should we be more proactive with the situation? Because if you're reactive and you just resort to violence, that's not going to work. Can't get violent because you don't like something with your kid. Especially in America, they don't play. And depending on what state you're in, they take child abuse very serious. You will be punished for that. You'll get some years behind bars for that kind of nonsense. You know? So, that being said, we're going to get up on out of here, guys. Make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe. Appreciate everybody stopping by, sponsoring the work. Shout out to Sherelle, moderator, for the support. Appreciate you sponsoring the show. So that being said, y'all take care. Y'all be safe out there. Drive safe if you're on the road. If you're a trucker, make sure you drive safe. Stop at the rest stops. And that's about it, man. Everybody on the graveyard shift, y'all just take it easy out there. Be safe. And just rep the Most High at all points. And watch the people around you, fam. Because a lot of people are not true. We out. Peace.
If you like our content, consider supporting via Cash App at $RingoTV Raw. Become a patron on patreon.com for exclusive video content not shown on YouTube. You could also support through PayPal at paypal.me/RingoTVRaw. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the bell to be notified of new content. Follow me on Instagram at RingoTVRaw.
This is Ringo TV Reactions, the only channel on YouTube bringing you the truth 100% raw and uncut. I'm out. Peace.